Alright guys, today I have a 2005 Chevy Impala 4T65E, and the reason why we got this job is the customer's complaint was he's driving the car and intermittently or once a day, whatever the case may be, it would hit hard on the 1-2 shift. He brought it in, I road checked it with him. I didn't actually feel the problem and there was no check engine light on, but I had a feeling what was going on with this thing. So we got back to the shop, hooked up the scan tool, and with no check engine light on, I had the scan tool on it and the code was P1811. Maximum shift adapt and long shift is the definition of that code. Now, pretty much why that code would set is the computer sees the shift is taking too long. The shift, technically the computer wants the shift to be completed in 0.65 seconds. And if it sees it taking longer than that, it's going to raise the line pressure to try to make up for the slip that the transmission may have. It'll do this to a certain point until it really can't adapt anymore, because possibly maybe the 1-2 frictions or the intermediate frictions are so worn out to the point where the computer can't compensate, because I think it starts to, from the time the clutch starts to apply to the time it's applied is what the computer is looking at. So again, it wants 0.65 seconds, and anything longer than that is going to raise the line pressure on that particular shift to make up for that until it can't compensate for it anymore. So that's the reason why we got this in. And it's easy to, all that information also is on your scan tool when you look at the tap cells. The tap cell is a transmission adaptive pressure. And you can actually look, it's labeled, I think they're labeled 2 through 16. 2 being light throttle, maybe 8 being medium throttle, and 16 being heavy throttle. You can actually see how much line pressure is being added to the shift to see actually where the problem is. I think it'll go plus or minus maybe 30 psi. You want it actually to stay right around 0. That's a healthy trans. So that way you can also pinpoint what problem, where your problem is. But again, I never felt the problem, but it did have 1811, which usually means the trans is, possibly could be worn out, could be also an issue with the EPC solenoid. But the bottom line is the shift was taking too long, and it got to the point where the computer, raising line pressure, couldn't adapt to that shift anymore. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to see what we find. Okay, so let me just, we'll start by taking off the back cover, but I just want to maybe adjust the camera a little bit, get a little closer. And just real quick, this has an internal, you see there's no neutral switch here, just a lever. And this has an internal mode switch on this 4T65E. And another quick tip, they have the tag on it. The first letter of this tag is a 5. That's usually the year of the car. So again, it is a 2005 car. It's a Chevy Impala. So we're going to open this up and let's see what we find. I just want to fix the camera a little bit. Be right back. Alright, so we're going to start by taking this cover off. We got 4 studs here, so I marked them already with my scribe. And one thing I like to do is just down on the bottom there's T40 bolts, I just like to give them a little tap. Loosen them up a little bit. Okay. Oh, and while I paused the camera, I went and double checked myself on those tap cells. And they're actually labeled, I thought it was 2 to 16. It's actually 4 to 16. And again, the 4 would be light throttle, the 8 would be medium, heavy would be 16, and you can see how much line pressure actually is added to the shift, and you can actually tell where if you had the hard shift, you could tell where the problem is. All right, so let's take this back cover down. Alright, now we're going to get those T40 out. Let's see how easy they come out. And they came right out. That's why I like to hit them to maybe loosen them, because you get the in the middle stripped out here. That then becomes a real pain. Okay. Right here is the back cover. All right, we'll just move this aside. All right. Alright, so now we have your pump. This here, you have your valve body channel plate. This is your internal mode switch. This is a shift solenoid. I think this is solenoid B. This is solenoid A. Let me turn this around. EPC, lockup, input speed sensor, and transmission temp sensor. So again, with these harnesses, you want to try to disconnect these without breaking the tabs. And this is this little switch here is like a manifold, but I believe it's for TCC release. So let's try to get this harness disconnected without breaking any of these tabs. Okay, there's one. Alright. Okay, this just popped right out. Okay. Alright, got them all out without breaking anything. Okay, now the next thing, we're going to take the pump off. Let's see if we can get that with this one. And you know what? We'll use this one instead. Roll 10 millimeter bolts here. Okay. And now the next is the 213s. right, this is your pump here. This I usually don't take apart. These are usually pretty good. And I'll put this aside. Okay, next is we're going to pull off the valve body. And this has a bunch of, has 10s down here, 13, 8s, it has an inverted torque up here. So a lot of different bolts in this one. This is that inverted torque bolt. You need those special sockets. All right, now we'll get all the 10s. You know, when you're taking these apart, you want to, you know, just kind of note where the different bolts go. Now we're going to take off the 8s, and I wanted to show you something here. There's another 10. You know, like these, like this inverted torque and this 8, you know, pretty much are the same. So this one would probably fit here and go in. So that's why I just say to kind of take note where the bolts are. I like to, of course, put everything back the way it came out. All right, 2 more 10s. Okay, so should be able to lift this valve body off. Oh, I am wrong. We actually have 2 more, which I forgot. You got 2 T27s here and here. Okay. Now we should be able to lift this valve body off. All right, here's your pump shaft. This goes into the pump that I took out. This end here goes into the converter. You do have check balls in the valve body, but again, I just want to kind of chunk this thing down first. And then this channel plate. Show you something on this. This range sensor, I think there's a bulletin out there that this could possibly be put backwards. But there's that range sensor where the clicker goes. It goes in between the 2 plastic. I wonder if I can actually get a just a fast. Let me see if I can get a fast close-up shot of this for you, so you can see what I'm talking about. Now let me take this thing off. So if you can see this on the camera, this goes in between the 2, the switch, you know, goes in between the 2 black plastic, like that. I think sometimes the people may, you know, put it on the side like this, but the correct way is just like that. I think there was a bulletin on that through ATSG, so I just wanted to show you that. Okay. Next thing, we're going to disconnect the manual valve. Here's the link. Okay, there's the link to the manual valve. And now you have 4 check balls. You have a check ball here, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we can just take these off with a magnet. And then we're going to get this channel plate out. And I like to do the same thing with these up here as I do with those T40 bolts. Let's give these a shot. Big camera down. Just want to fix the camera real quick. Okay. Then we got some more pins down here. That's an 8. That's an 8. 10. This 65 is probably going to have probably see a dual chain in this one also. And this has a T30 down here on the bottom. Okay. Alright, so this channel plate should come off. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, here's the manual valve. Alright, this is fourth, well, here's a washer. Washer goes there. And this is the 4th clutches. They don't look too bad. Okay, this is a accumulator piston. This takes an O-ring and a pin. And on this one, has a couple of springs in it. And on this one you want to take the pin and make sure this cover is okay. It's not worn out. This seems pretty good. Alright, so I'll put this aside. Okay, so here's the dual chain setup. Chain feels pretty good. Here's a couple of oil loop jams. Take these out. These gaskets. When you get the overhaul kit, it's probably going to come with metal gaskets. I think they just, just an upgrade. All right, here's a dowel pin. Let's get rid of these. All right, so another thing we got to do so we can get these sprockets out. Got to take the O-ring. Take the O-ring off for the torque converter. Okay, now remember on the channel plate there was the input speed sensor. This is what reads, the input speed sensor reads this. The first thing we're going to want to do is we want to get this snap ring out here. Let me just get my pliers. This is it's not a snap ring, it actually holds the axle in. This is the clip to the axle. I'm going to take this out. Let me just get this out here. Okay. Now we can take the fourth hub out. You want to look at this real close up here because these splines on the earlier models love to strip out or wear out. Here's a washer. Okay, now we can take the sprockets out. Okay, that's out. And another washer here. This is the driven. Here's the drive. I'll get this out later. Now there's also a washer behind here. Okay, here's the chains. All right, and now we're going to pull the sensor port out. Okay. Here's a middle washer for the sensor port. This is a little worn, actually, so this is going to be changed. I'm going to have to fix this drum up. So here is the second clutch, which is more than likely the problem, because he did say it was a hard 1-2 shift. Again, I never felt it, but I don't know if we can pick this up here, but there is a lot of clearance in this clutch pack here. You know, space between the snap ring and the top plate. So we're going to open up this drum. Actually, we'll do it now to see what it looks like. All right, a couple of these clutches, you know, they're not burnt, but I mean, if you look at it, you can see it's the material is worn off. You can see the material is a lot of the material is worn off. But he was complaining about a hard 1-2 shift, so, and there is a pretty much little excessive clearance in that pack. So it looks like that second clutch is worn down to the point where it could cause this problem. And we're going to go through that later. So let's get here's the reverse band out. These are, band is good, it's dark, but that's the color, you know, like a high energy type band. Here is the shell. Alright, then you have your mechanical diodes. Back in the day, these used to be sprigs. So they turn one way, lock the other way. Those look in pretty good shape. And another thing you want to check for is the sun gear. You know, just look at the gear, make sure there's no pits on it. Alright, let's see if this will come out. Might have to pull the final front planet. Here is that oil dam. It looks like, I guess they call it Saturn. And this goes right here on this planet. Here is the rear planet. Again, you want to check for the gears rocking back and forth. Do the front one too. Also, up and down, excessive up and down play on the rear planet. You may have to put the washers on. Okay. Here is a bearing. Washer. Actually, put that. And this is going to have the. This is the coast band drum. The coast band drum and the race for the spraying. Here is the spraying here. You're going to want to pop this bearing off. That's come right out. And then this is the spray for the low spray. Okay, so we'll move this out of the way. And then we're going to take out the coast band. That's the coast band. And this is the forward band. You know, these forward bands, they like to, these forward bands like to break. You know, a lot of them I get in are because of an 1811 code, and also a decent amount of ones I get in is because the band is broken. So, you know, I would probably personally recommend to change the band. You don't want to have this thing come back on you in 6 months with a slipping forward, because the like this piece will normally break off or bend up, and then it'll slip on the pulley because only the outer rings are grabbing. Okay, now down to the final drive center support. Flip this and take the pan down. But first, we'll take the cover off for the 1-2 band. Okay, that's the piston for the 1-2 band. Alright, might as well take the tail up. Only 2 bolts in that, because the other 2 bolts are go with a bracket, so when the installer pulls the trans out, he takes the bolts out. Alright, now this will probably slide right out. Okay, your final drive. Here is the park gear. It's going just like that. And then a washer. Now we're going to flip this and take the pan down. Alright, and here's an O-ring. Actually, one thing I want to do before we do that is I'm going to take this servo, this reverse servo. This thing may pop up. I put a pretty good spring in it. Let's get the clip out. I just get under. There's an opening, and I just get under it. And then just work the clip out. But this thing may tend to pop up on you, so you want to kind of hold this thing down. There we go. And then this will come right out. Reverse, and here's the, that's the spring. Pretty heavy spring. Now we pull the pan down. Let's see if we can use this one. Okay, the pan actually is pretty clean. Just coat shows up because it's just worn out. Normal wear and tear, clutches wear out. All right, the filter. I'm doing that there. All right, now these are the accumulators. I believe 1, 2, 2, 3, it's actually written on it. But this is the apply for the coast band. Sometimes these are a little tricky to come out, so I like to do my regular, try to loosen these up. Okay. That's good. Take these out. And now, we got 4 of these to come out, and the rest hold it together. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then should be able to lift this out. Okay, and I will just move this, there's an oil pipe. Pull that up, that goes into the final drive sport housing. Here are your tubes and your accumulators. Here is the piston for the band. That's the for the coast band. And then you have a seal which you want to make sure you put back. Little seal like that goes right there. Okay, so there's only one piece left in this trans. Alright, so we're going to get it more. Let's see if we can get it with this one. There's a snap ring. And then we're going to pull the support housing out. If you just get it started, you can probably pull it out with your fingers. Okay, here's the snap ring. And then this will just come right up. All right. All right, you know what we're going to do now? We're going to pull the, this switch is going to be changed. I like to change it. I wouldn't take a chance if something happens. So we're going to pull the switch out. Now the first thing I'll do is I'll take off that, looks like about a 15 millimeter nut for that. Okay, see if we can get it out with this. Ready? Okay, now there's a nail. There's a nail in here. You got to pull the nail out. So I got something for that. Let's see how this tool works. I got it from Harbor Freight. Look at that. Comes right out. I think this was about on sale for about $2. Okay. Now this thing is going to slide down. And this is the internal mode switch. And again, when you're putting this together, you want to make sure the clicker goes in between. That's the correct way to set the switch up. All right, so this is case empty. Just knock out the front seal. Alright, you want to examine your stator. Stator is smooth. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Alright, the only thing we can really, well, you know, we can look at the valve body, but let's open up the input drum. This houses the forward and third clutch. Alright, here's a spacer and a bearing that just fell down. Here's the forward frictions. I mean, they don't really look that bad, but even though they don't look bad, does not mean that they are worn out. So I like to, me personally, I like to change the frictions. Put like a banner kit in this thing. And here is the forwards. I'm sorry, not the forwards. This is the third clutch. There's also, you got to watch your clutch clearances. The critical ones, the clutch clearances, because there's pretty much a lot to begin with, is your second and your third clutch. And if you leave, I feel if you leave the clearance as is, which might be a little too much, and these people get on the car, they drive it hard, it's very possible it would show an 1811 after overhaul. These here aren't that great, these direct frictions. This got some material peeling off here. So again, these are going to be changed. And what I personally do with these, I think it's the outer ones. They're still available early. These might be 68,000s. Or 70,000s, and the early ones maybe are 80,000s. So I always get a couple of early clutches to build up on the clearance, so it's not that loose. You don't want it too tight where the clutch may drag on, but you don't want it too loose where if you get on the car, it's going to cause an 1811 code. And on the second clutch here, I think it maybe is Alto. They make a couple of oversized steels. So I put at least one steel in, and depending on my clearance, I might put another one in. But pretty much what I would go by, the rule of thumb with clutch clearances, I would say 8 to 10 thousandths per clutch. So if you have, you know, 6 clutches like in this one, you want maybe 60 thousandths clearance. But that's the critical part to this this trans. You know what? We'll take this bearing out here. Here's a bearing, and let me get my snap. I can probably pop this snap ring out. All right, here is a set of return springs. Here is the third piston. Gotta get a lip seal out. And then there's another snap ring. All right, here's a lip seal for the third piston. Let's find where the opening is. Okay, here's the other snap ring, and now this actually will come apart. Is a return spring and the dish for the third clutch piston. Here is the forward piston here, and you want to check in here, make sure it's not worn out. This actually feels pretty good. So pretty much what we're going to do with this is we're going to do an overhaul. Standard overhaul should probably fix this up real good. You know what else we're going to do? Let's, all right, here is the loop tube, and this loop tube goes on the end. But I like to just take that off and put that in later. And then these other two will come off. Now let's open this up and see how these accumulator pistons are. And you're going to want to watch how these go together, because sometimes they have, the piston will be flipped, depending. It's usually not always the same. Okay, this one is the 2-3. Okay, this is the 2-3 piston. All right, this feels good. I'm trying to rock the pin in there, and that feels good. And here's the 1-2. Same thing. Okay, this actually is good too. Dump that oil out. I like to leave everything the way, you know, so nothing gets mixed up. Okay. Let's take a look at this valve body real quick. Alright, let's lift off the separator plate. It's kind of like a bonded piston, and it has these things here that hold the plate onto the valve body. And it has two solenoid screens, one here and there. You want to just be careful. What I do, I leave these in, and then as I'm ready to change them, as I'm building the unit, just so I remember where they go, I'll knock the one out, knock the other one in, knock one out, knock the other one in. But I'll leave those in there for now. Okay, this also has a dowel pin to help, you know, keep everything in line. So you want to be careful that you don't lose that. Actually, let's put that there. And then we got some check balls. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 in here. Alright, so real quick again on the solenoids, shift solenoid EPC, late style, and lockup solenoid. And this is a mini manifold or a TCC release. Another common problem that these may have is a 741 code, which is, I believe, torque converter, or 742, torque converter clutch stuck on or stuck off. So this has something to do with that. And another thing that you want to do when you're building these transmissions is this, right next to this lockup solenoid is this plug. This plug houses an O-ring. So you want to take the plug out, change the O-ring, and put the plug back in. Just be careful. You see how it comes out, because, you know, sometimes you may look at it, you might flip it around, and the thing will be sealing on the outside. The plug actually seals on the inside. So you want to make sure you change that plug when you do center support, fourth clutch piston, 2-tab metal washer, which is worn out, so that's going to be changed. And I guess that's really about it on this trans. So again, a key point on this transmission is clutch clearance for the second and third clutch. Keep it at 8 to 10 thousandths per clutch. Again, with the second, I usually use at least one oversized steel. Then I check my clearance, and if I have to, I'll put another one in, but I put at least one in. And on the third clutch, one of the clutches, see, this is actually one. There's outer teeth and there's inner teeth, and there's nothing on the other side. So it kind of sits like this, or sits like this, whatever. But one of them is still available. and one of them is not available. So I get, if it's this one, on the early 440 transmission, these were thicker. So I put maybe like 3 of them in, and it brings my clearance up perfect. We're right what it should be. Alrighty guys, so I thank you for watching. Again, I ask that you, if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to be consistent and upload at least 1 video a week. Alright guys, so thanks for watching, and have a great day.